As a male teacher and a male teacher in early childhood, I'm in a really fortunate position to, just by being myself, I'm able to challenge the biases and stereotypes that might be around. I think that one of the things that children don't always get to see are men in caring roles. And to see a man in a caring role as part of their normal life immediately challenges bias. I think that often people will look at a male in an early childhood setting, and as they look at that male, they'll think, oh, it's great to have a bloke there because he'll be able to play footy, he'll be able to chop wood, he'll be able to rough and tumble. As a male role model challenging bias, it's important for me not to take on all of those roles. It's important for me to take on those roles that are the less stereotyped roles. So it's more important for me to have a dolly in my hand and be patting it and playing like that than it is for me to be kicking a footy. Whenever I'm around children, I always have to use inclusive language. So rather than talk about the boys and the girls in an inclusive environment, I can talk about the children, and in a specific environment, I can talk about the individual children. There are times as an educator that I get to see children being excluded because of their gender. Other things that we can do as early childhood educators is we can change the language we use. We also often get stuck in a binary. So children often feel that they have to either be like a boy or like a girl, when really that hopefully they can be like a boy when they want to be like a boy if that's their identity, and be like a girl if that's their identity, or be anywhere between if that's who they feel they are. So when we use language, it's really important that we try not to make any language of boy or girl exclusive to a certain behaviour or a certain way of being. And one of the reasons that I absolutely love being outdoors in nature with children is because the outdoor environment, the natural environment, is an environment that doesn't tend to be embedded with a whole lot of values. Values about gender or race or ability. It's a very inclusive environment. It's an environment that allows people to be who they are. Like the current generation of children, they're spending very, very little time outdoors in nature. And so society hasn't imprinted on them what outdoors is. It doesn't have so much of a gender. And so one of the things that I get to see, and what's been seen in lots of other outdoor nature programs and other bush kinders, is that children play together. So the way that we set up our environments does make a big difference, because society has, as young as these children are, has already given these children an idea of how they can be and how they should be. One of the things that, for me, after reflecting on that, is that I make sure to, wherever possible, remove areas that might be for one gender or that are exclusively used by one gender. I try to make them more open. So as an educator, I'm finding real benefits in our home space learning from what we did at Bushkinder. Being able to make the world a better place is about making the world a place where there are not the stereotypes and gender imbalances and people that suffer because of prejudice. Being who you are is something that should always be celebrated, and being able to allow everybody else to be who they are needs to be something that's supported.
In an early childhood setting, children come from home, and that's where they bring a lot of their ideas from. So when they come to an early childhood setting and they start to play, we start to see some of the stereotypes and ideas about gender that they have through their play. Some of them are really positive, and that's fantastic, but some of them can be negative, and it's our job to work on that and challenge that when we see it. So the early years are a crucial time for children, because that's when they're role-playing and trying out lots of different ideas about how they view the world, and also about their identity, who they are and who they have been around. So it's really important that we provide a space for them that's safe and that's engaging, but also that challenges stereotypes that they have. In my everyday actions with children, it's really important to role model gender equity, and that is through a lot of different ways. One of the ways is engaging in conversations with the children when we hear them saying things that are inappropriate or that are biased or stereotyped. So that might be things like other children saying, you can't come and play in this area because it's a boys only area or a boys only cubby. Or in the case that I had of a little boy who wanted to come and play babies with some girls, and they said that you can't do that, sorry, this is a girl area and this is a girl thing. So when those things happen, we have a conversation about it. We sit down and we say why not, and let the children come up with the explanations for it. And often they can't explain why not, and they have to think about why it is that they've said what they've said, and how it is unfair and how it is stereotyped. Another important thing is the language that we use with children. Language is really powerful. So we really avoid using gendered language and things like getting children to line up in girls' lines or boys' lines and pointing out the gender difference all the time, because children notice that and respond to it, and then they'll repeat that in their own play and in their own actions. So there are lots of great opportunities that educators can use to challenge ideas of gender stereotypes and inequity in early childhood settings. So one of the most important ones would be to have a look around your service or have a look around your room and have a think about what it is that the children are seeing and engaging with. So have a look at your resources, have a look, do you have just female things, female dress-ups in the home corner? And what message does that send to children? In the construction corner, do you have female dolls? Do you have female toys to play with? And what images do you have in that area? If you have a fire station, have you deliberately chosen to put pictures up of female firefighters to challenge the stereotype that a lot of children might have that firefighters are actually firemen? One thing that's really powerful is the books that you use. So one thing that I've done before is have an audit of my books and gone through it. We've had a lot of books donated from parents, and some of them haven't been of a very high quality. So one thing that we did with the children was to go through the books. Children are really interested in toys. It's a really big part of their world. And it's really interesting when you can get into a discussion with children about what toys they like, because inevitably children will talk about boys' toys and girls' toys. And it leads into a great conversation that you can have with children about why they think certain toys belong to boys and why they think certain toys belong to girls. And it often is because of the advertising around those products. So as well as using really great books and as well as looking at the resources that you use in the classroom, another great resource that you can have at your fingertips are the families of the children that attend your service. So in my past experience, I've been lucky enough to have a mum who was a firefighter who came in, and that challenged a lot of stereotypes for the boys and led to some really fantastic discussions, and it actually led to a lot of the girls being more engaged in the firefighting role play area, which is a real win.